Thank you so much, Trevor, and also Sven, for that wonderful interview. And welcome to the post-game lobby, where we're joined by VODS and another member of G2. It is Perks. Welcome. Also, congratulations to you, of course. How does it feel?
Thank you. It feels really good. This is like the best win we got after Fnatic because the games were so close. Like, I mean, it doesn't feel good that the games were not clean, don't get me wrong, but it feels good that we won, you know, in the end after these close, chaotic games. Like, we made a comeback. I'm pretty sure we made a comeback because we were really behind. And yeah, it just feels really good to win and stay on the top.
To be exact, you were down 4.3k gold at 20 and you came back from that. Why do you think it was that H2K wasn't able to push their lead?
I don't know exactly why. It's maybe because we had Seer, like, like wave clear, and Jace has like a decent poke too. So I was trying my best to like just poke the Jhin, even though Jankos was really annoying of blocking it half of the times. But I think I did a good job of poking, so they couldn't really close the game out. And I don't know exactly what happened in the game because I'm still a bit shocked, you know. And but yeah, I think we played really good from behind, but our early game needs a lot of work to be worked on.
Luckily, we have the technology to show you again how you came back in the end, because you want to take a look at the final team fight. Crepo talked about it a little bit, and you know, it was getting to that point in the game where we're wondering, well, we're getting to that whoever wins this fight and runs it down mid, like Sven said. Perks, what were you thinking about this?
I mean, honestly, I saw Jhin and Ryze mid, so I thought there was no way I could die, and we saw Rumble on the board, so I really thought there was no way I could die, and then they just went on me, jumped over the wall. I'm like, the fuck, go fight, and then we won the fight in the end, and everyone was screaming and super happy and like,
Yeah, as Sven was saying in the interview, well, at this point, you know, we're improving, we're working towards playoffs, we're working towards getting better, so win or lose, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, does it? It does.
I mean, honestly, after the game too, when we got super stomped, I didn't even know we got stomped. Like, the game was just normal for me.
Really?
Yeah, really. Like, I was just farming my mid lane, and my support was dying maybe 10 times in the game. But then later on, I got called by some GWs, but the game was over then already, so it doesn't matter. And like, when we got stomped before, like last year, I would get like really afraid or scared or tilted, and this is like, just go next game. Shit happens, you know. We've been over this in scrims, so. Yeah,
this Stress was bringing it up. Well, he didn't think that you guys would get tilted, that you guys would overcome that, and it was quite funny because you know you almost got perfect gamed.
Did we?
Yes,
yeah.
You gave.
You got one kill.
Really? No turrets?
No, nothing.
Nope. Actually, that would be really sad.
So you were actually getting top pretty hard.
That would be really sad.
Makes it all the much better that you guys were able to pull it back in game 3. And we also want to look at a couple of other things. One is this questionable decision from you, I think, Perks, is very early where you give up first blood. Actually,
this is the bot lane.
This is the bot lane, yeah. So Jankos, like he did in game 2, looked to make a very early play and punish the fact that Sven and Mithy did have the pushing lanes. When you guys are in a situation like this, what is the communication that you have to try and respond? Is this just a situation to try and claw things back, or do you, like, what goes through your mind?
I mean, honestly, before we were really bad at like cutting the losses and just trying to salvage situations. And I think this game we were trying to do the same, so it's bad because I don't think here, like, if he doesn't leave, I don't think we should try. I mean, maybe in game they could have salvaged the situation. Maybe it looked good. I didn't see in game because I'm laning, so I don't know exactly. But usually, most of the cases, if you get caught or something, you should not try to help the person. You should just let him go and get the advantages on the other side of the map.
And that is actually what happens in our next replay, but we were wondering why you found yourself in this position in the first place.
Is it when I jump in?
Yeah, it is very early in the game.
Yeah, but
so
here,
what happens?
So here, honestly, I didn't know that we didn't have TP, and they're walking to us, and everyone was saying fight, it's a good fight for us, because they just Ryze ulting into us.
It looks great.
And here my Q deals 1k damage, so I just jump in and pray for, I mean, yeah, I should not do this, obviously, and then they just TP on us. But if they don't TP on us, I think we can fight. And
a great example here, the rest of your teammates, they don't decide to jump in again and try and turn the fight.
If you see the TP coming to you, then you just run to the hills.
There's no hills on Summer's Rift, is there?
I just wanted to quickly ask. Wait, sorry, I apologize. But we were talking a lot about. We talked a lot about mentality, and I know you made a lot of structural changes to your support staff. How much has that affected your in-game mentality and your and when you suffer such a big loss like that?
Well, honestly, I think every support stuff we added is useful, like strategic part or like teaching us about our brain, emotions, etc. I think all that is useful, but I think the most I got from myself is my experience from last year, like having sucking at Worlds has really like made me think a lot, and I don't know, it just once you like honestly, Worlds was our worst performance, you know, and getting stunned by H2K isn't nearly as bad as losing to everyone on Worlds. So it just my mind's a difference, and for me, I think I've just grown a lot and I can handle everything right now.
It's quite interesting to get that insight. I'd love to know what you think is kind of the mindset that H2K should have, because before this series, people had doubts about their performance. They had that game versus Vitality. They lost to VOL, but then they almost beat you guys and they gave up such a lead. Where do you think they're at right now, and how strong do you think they are?
Honestly, H2K was pretty good today, even though I think we didn't play really good. Our early game was weak and my support was running it down a bit, but I think they're a good team, yeah. And we are going to have to step up our game big time for Unicorns, because I think our series with Unicorns is going to be really scary as of now. We also play Origin this week, yeah. So we have to not loosen our belts, you know, and focus.
I think it is good that you mentioned the word scary, because there's something else on the Rift for this game that has the potential to be very scary, and that's Nuclear and Che. Like, coming into the split, we weren't too sure how they'd fit in with a different language, and they hadn't really, you know, shone in weeks 1 and 2, but I think now we're getting into it. They're looking very formidable as a bot lane. You heard Sven and Mythy, Sven's opinion on it. Really difficult to play against them, not only in the lane, but on the map as well. Like, they're a legit bot lane duo that every European duo has to be careful of.
Yeah, Che was crowned player of the series, win or lose in this one, because we thought that he was a consistent factor. And, I mean, I think you can only agree that that bottom lane just made a lot
to really good.
Yeah.
I think Che was really pressuring him up during the whole series, like with Zyra or with Tam. Like, he was just, we were respecting most of the time. Like, we were calling care Tam kill so he can move here, and that's why we became big, because we didn't like falter to their plays so much. But I think he was still like pressuring them up so hard, and we just had to respect everything that he can do. So yeah, I didn't expect them to be good, but now I'm really sure that they're upgrade over the last year bottom. So,
all right.
Yeah, for sure. They're not playing in enemy turret and punishing for every creep. They actually play smart on the map, and yeah.
Is that something that you guys as a team have also been focusing on? Maybe, you know, it isn't that a super explosive G2 that we've seen last year. It just seems like you guys try and get the job done in different ways.
Yeah, I think our understanding of the meta is like good, but we are still too passive, I feel. Like, last year we were like a bit aggressive, you know. In Spring Split we were really aggressive.
A little bit.
Then in Summer Split, like, we were just rolling over everyone because teams were not really good, I think, back then. And then we had to like change our mindset and our playstyle during Worlds. Like during bootcamp, we were like during the Worlds bootcamp, we put down all the basics, because we were like teamed for 2.5 months with 3 changes. So it was really hard for us to actually perform well, even though we were like doing pretty good in practice. But when we came back together in the January, we were actually like, it took us only 2-3 days to be completely like solid with basics, and then we started working on like more complicated macro, or like making plans for each other, and just being a really good team. As you can see, like we are not like above everyone else individually as we were like last year. That's what I think. And this year we are just, I think, better team. So we still have a lot to work on ourselves individually and ourselves as a team. So I'm just looking forward to how much can we improve for playoffs.
Yeah, and already looking in a very, very good position. And you mentioned it before, the Unicorns of Love is a matchup that you're looking forward to. And they won again today versus the Giants, a 2-0. They look really... So what's the scariest about the Unicorns of Love?
Honestly, I think everything is scary. I don't know. Like, okay, I think from what Midi told me, their support is really good. And I think their mid laner is good too. I think sometimes he's like a bit over-aggressive and can get punished easily. Like, he's a bit inconsistent, but he has really good mechanics. So like he's, yeah, I think he's really solid overall. And their top laner is really good too. And their jungler is really good too. And their AD is good too. So I don't know, they're just good players, and they fight and fight and fight and fight, and they win every fight, even 4 versus 5, 3 versus 5, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But for me, the player that I think stands out is Hylissang. You already talked a lot about how you think that he stands out as a player, and I think that Tahm Kench is a champion that I feel is becoming more and more showcasing these
Honestly,
standout
Hillsang is
support
insane.
players.
Yeah, Hillsang is really insane.
Like we've seen his thresh, we've seen his
When you play against
bugs.
his trash, you can't stand in the mid lane, or he will touch you.
Like you can hit Perks is very, very afraid of this.
He will not miss. If he flash hooks, he will not miss.
So a lot of respect is being given to this support player, and I'm really excited to see the team go up against G2 because I think it will be a close battle at the top of the table.
It's going to be super exciting. Would you say that you've changed your mind? Did you think that the Unicorns of success early was maybe attributed to the opponents not being as well versed yet, and you had to shift?
No, I actually thought ever since the beginning, I thought Unicorns were playing good, like good meta, and they had good grasp of the meta on every role, and they were playing good meta. Like jungle was playing really smart and ganking like when his jungle camps are down, and mid lane was playing like they were playing aggressive around mid lane, and they were using like Shen aggressively, and I think they were just really good team since the beginning. And I think our games versus them, it's really gonna be interesting because I think we are either gonna get rolled over like versus H2K, or we are gonna play controlled and clean, and we're gonna win versus them then. So I think it can only go two ways. Or maybe the third way, only the third option is fight till whoever
Yeah,
wins.
you don't have a choice in the matter. They're going to pull you in.
Yeah, they're going to come mid level 1 and try and
Oh,
gank
shit,
you
yeah.
and do everything. Unicorns are very interesting because throughout their history, they've always been a team that have had deep champion pools. And again, it favors them. But right now, they're pairing good drafts with good individual play and good team play. And that is a very scary prospect. It's not clean from the Unicorns. It's not the set plays where you're cleanly getting out, but they're getting so much return from everything they put in. That's what makes them very difficult to play against. They just snowball leads very well.
My biggest criticism of the Unicorns of Love is that to me, they feel like a very reactive team. So they tend to, rather than set up plays in order for them to succeed, the enemy tries to force a play and then they turn around and punish
No
them.
need to react if you know you're always going in.
Well, this is it, and I wonder how that will do against a team like G2, because in my eyes, I feel that G2 are very good at setting up for objectives, and you will not leave as many windows for Unicorns to come back.
And that was the difference makers.
I think that Unicorns are actually, I mean, I haven't watched all of it again. I think the first games, they were like not really proactive. They were getting stoned by Origin early game and stuff, things like that. But right now, they look really good early game, I think. Even, okay, versus H2K, they were behind too. But today, versus Giants, they looked really good. Like, they were making plays.
Yes, they did.
And even though Giants made some plays and then trolled a bit, I think Unicorns, I don't know, maybe they look really good versus like lower tier teams because they went 2-1 against Splice and against H2K, I think.
Yes.
And so they are like maybe a bit like not as scary versus top tier teams, but versus bottom tier teams, I think like they have no chance, you know.
Yep.
They would just roll over them. So yeah.
I think the proactive players, we saw both sides of that today. We saw game 1 was very reactive. You know, you and Krepa were talking about it a lot. Game 2, they with the Tom Kench, maybe it's the pick for Hillsang that just allows them to go, okay, 5 people are coming bot now, and then just dive all over people. I think we've seen both sides of the Unicorns. I prefer the active style, but I mean, they look great right now, whatever they do.
They look
fantastic. Which is very weird that they can do whatever and they're rolling over people.
Yeah, they look fantastic, and it's also reflected in the standings. Let's take a look. After one day of cross-group competition, as we saw today, G2 Esports still reigning supreme in Group A, or the Little Jumble, 5-0 in series wins. And then the Unicorns of Love are also 5-0, and there's a couple of teams that I want to ask Perks about. We talked about H2K, UOL, G2. I want to ask you about Fnatic specifically, and how do you think they're going to evolve? And we're also going to see them with their new jungler, Broxa, in there. How do you think that's going to change things up?
Well, for Fnatic, actually, I expected them to come in really strong. Even when we played them first game, I didn't expect us to actually win versus them, even though because we were playing really bad. Because they started practicing in November, so they had around 2 months of practice before LCS, and we had 10 days. So I thought that they were gonna come in really hot, you know. But as they have not come in hot, I still think that they have good players, and they have mix of balanced team, you know, veterans and talented rookie caps. So they have good mix of team, and they can be a good team in the future for sure. But as of now, they made a jungle change already, and I don't know how good is that gonna affect them. Even though maybe Amazing didn't have the best performance every game, I still think Amazing was a pretty good jungler at pressuring. He was really good at pressuring the map and playing with pressure. And it's just gonna be interesting to see how Broxa does as a rookie who comes from Challenger Series. Even though he was pretty good in Challenger Series. So I'm looking forward to see how they do with a new player, because it can go both ways, you know.
Yeah, they're taking on Vitality. How much of a chance do they have there, Vedi?
I think it's pretty high based on what we've seen from Vitality so far.
A lab says more than 1,000 words.
Yeah.
We have to remember that Joko himself only fairly recently came out from Challenger, and he's finding avenues to prove that he is worthy of playing on an LCS stage. But I think that there are other struggles that Vitality are currently dealing with. In particular, when you look at the bottom half of the map, it does feel like that is a part that is resulting in their limited success.
Yeah, and you know, we talk a little bit about Broxah himself. He looks solid. He looks at least to the level where he should be able to perform for Fnatic. He's got decent gauge on the meta. He plays Ivern. We saw it this week in Challenger. He plays a couple of different things. His Lee Sin's great. I think for this Fnatic lineup against Vitality, it's the right style of opponent where he can just come in, and I don't think it's too big of a challenge for them to actually put that on Broxah's shoulders. I think the rest of the lineup should be way strong enough to help him through this first series.
We'll see what happens. Sven and Mythy cosplayed as the Vitality bot lane today. Maybe it's the other way around tomorrow. We'll see what happens. We'll take a look at the schedule to see the other match that we have on our slate, because the Misfits will also be taking to the stage as they take on Splice, followed by Fnatic versus Vitality. That's a good one as well. Misfits
really
versus
hyped, yeah.
Splice. Super hype matchup. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I have no clue because Splice haven't looked the best. I think that Splice will pick up their game though for this week. So Misfits versus Splice is gonna be really close. And Misfits on the other hand, already have a good grasp of the meta. Like their mid and jungle plays, their support and jungle play really good together. They're like Korean duo, you know, taking over ELCS. And the mid has been performing well too. They have a solid top laner and a solid AD carry. Like they just have overall a good team, good players, and they've been playing good as a team. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they match up against Splice.
And so far, all of the teams that you've talked about, you only seem to have praise for. And I wonder if you talked about how you felt that in summer last split, the level might not have been as high, which enabled you to steamroll everyone. What do you think of the level of Europe right now?
Well, honestly, I'm just praising every team because not even us is good right now. Not even we are good right now. So it's gonna be because I think actually this time around every team has like potential. Even though I think in Spring Split last year there was like Vitality, H2K, and Fnatic who was hyped, and all these three teams kind of failed. And Origin was like looking weak early too. So it's like the split was competitive, but the teams were not still good enough, you know. And on Summer Split, I think every team just downgraded. Besides like bottom tier teams, but the bottom tier teams who upgraded were still not close enough to top tier. So that like led us being on top with Splice, who just break through everything. And right now, I think every roster is like built with some sense, you know, like everyone has like good roster, and it just every team can be really good. I don't know. It's just hard to explain. I think everything can be good, and it's just going to be interesting to see in a couple of months which three teams are going to go to Worlds, because I think the top 6 is really close right now.
Yeah, advertisement for the ELCS.
There's that Perks mentality shift. It's gone from everybody's bad and joking to everybody's good.
Everyone was bad though. Last year, to be fair, everyone was bad last year.
There you go. That's the mindset. Perks on the way to building to be a billionaire. Well, earlier you asked me about if there's mountains or hills on Summoner's Rift. There's 2 giant cliffs on Saturday, unfortunately. Origin have to face H2K, Roccat have to face G2, and from the how good both of your guys' teams were today, that's 2 teams going 0-5. I'm sorry, I don't think that's the day for an upset coming through for either team.
Well, we'll see. I definitely think that the third game now that you guys played today might have been kind of the best game in terms of level we've seen, because a lot of these long drawn-out matches haven't exactly been high level. I think of a lot of like the Unicorns of Love games. Even today, they played good, but they got kind of messy in doing it.
I think that this is one of the problems that you have, that when you have a lot of high-level teams compete against each other, it becomes harder because of the amount of respect that you show to your opponent. Something that Perks was talking a lot about earlier on was how we always have to play around the Tahm Kench ultimate. Same with the Unicorns of Love. Sometimes it descends into this because you're showing so much respect to your opponent.
I actually forgot what I wanted to say. So you could just keep talking.
Okay. All right. Well, we're just gonna quit. He doesn't know what to say. We're gonna, say quits today. No, thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations, hard-fought match, and good luck on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday as well. There we go. Well, we'll be back tomorrow in any case at 5 p.m. Central European time. From all of us here in Berlin, thank you so much for watching, and good night.
Peace.